Good morning. Welcome to the inaugural week of Carolina People, right here on Fox 43. This week we'll be focused on some of the Carolina's finest friends of scouting. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're visiting at the Pete Area Council of the Boy Scouts here in Florence. We're actually visiting with the Scout Executive and CEO, Jim Head. Jim, thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure, Greg.
What an exciting day. This whole week, as you know, we're staying focused on the Pete Area Council. The council has been such an amazing council, not only the last 5 years, but over the 50-some years that it's been around. I'd love for you to just give me an update on what's happening with the council, and maybe explain to viewers something of how the council is set up and what counties it serves.
Well, that's great, Greg. We're really excited and proud of the Pete Area Council. We serve approximately 12,000 young people. We have over 3,000 adult volunteers. We're one of the fastest growing councils in the United States, and that's really an exciting thing to be involved with, the wonderful people that we associate with. I think some of the things that you asked what we're the most proudest of, or what is an accomplishment that we're really excited about, and that's touching the lives of young people. The mission of the Boy Scouts of America really isn't to teach somebody how to camp, and it truly is not just having fun, although those are all aspects of what we do. Our true mission is to develop an environment to allow young people to make an ethical decision throughout their lifetime. And that's a very serious element of what we are and what we do.
Absolutely. What age, now so many, I know lots of viewers know a ton about the Boy Scouts. I didn't grow up as a Boy Scout, so I'm an absolute novice, which is probably the best place to be right now because I'm with someone who can really talk about it. Can you just talk about when Boy Scouts would start for youngsters?
Boy Scouts, like every other organization, we're evolving and changing to meet the needs of our society. The Boy Scouts in 1910 did not even resemble what we are today. For example, in 1910, we focused primarily on young men who would be in the Boy Scout age, which is basically the 6th grade or 11 years old and above, up to age 20. Now we have a program called the Tiger Program, where we invite young people who are entering the 1st grade to be involved in our Cub Scouting program. Cub Scouting picks up from the 2nd through the 5th grade, but we're real excited about some new programs that we have just introduced. Obviously, Boy Scouts, which is our traditional program, is 6th grade up to the age of 21. But we have a new program called Venturing, and it is a co-educational program where young ladies 14 years of age and young men 14, 20 years of age can be introduced in a co-ed program, and it's really an exciting high adventure type program. It's especially been successful in churches and in youth groups within church organizations, but it's expanding, it's constantly evolving. A lot of our ROTC units are becoming involved in the venturing program because of our COPE course, which is our high ropes course out at camp, and all the exciting opportunities that the camp offers. So.
And they're venturing units within all the counties in the council? Or?
Yes, we serve 11 counties. In fact, we serve about 25% of the geographic area of the state of South Carolina. We really began up towards Sumter, Lee and Clarendon County. We go through Williamsburg, down to Horry, Chesterfield, Marlboro, Marion, Dillon, Florence, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out. So
I hope not. Yeah, I think you're really covering the viewing area that we serve. It pretty much overlap with the viewing area of my station as well as...
I guess one of the reasons I'm so excited about being here this morning, if you were to lay your geographic coverage in our map that we have of areas that we cover, our 11 counties, it almost matches perfectly. So we feel very blessed to be on the show today.
It really does. Jim, just real quick, I know there are the councils that would be adjacent to the Pete Area Council. Of course, we serve into Georgetown County, which is in the Coastal Council. Do you have any idea about the council structure in North Carolina? A good quarter of our viewers, folks potentially watching today, are in Robeson, Scotland, Columbus County.
Absolutely. You have Charlotte has a council,
Okay.
and they're the same approximate size that we are. Then you
Right.
have Albemarle is a council location, and Wilmington, I believe, is the other area. So
Okay.
they would basically, we go from the North Carolina Council, and those councils would pick up over that way. Then, of course, you have Coastal Carolina. Then up towards the northern part of the state of South Carolina, you're going to have Columbia, Spartanburg, and Greenville.
Right.
In the state of South Carolina.
So
and
the
Augusta.
viewers both in North and South Carolina could obviously have activity with the Boy Scouts, but within the 11 counties, they would have to be within the PD Area Council.
PD Area
here in
Council,
South Carolina. I understand. You mentioned Camp Coker, and I know Camp Coker has been a gigantic success, not only for the PD Area Council, but really for the Southeast and for this nation.
We're real excited about some of the things. We're currently involved in a capital campaign and endowment. And endowment I'm not spending a lot of time on because we will talk about what we're doing at Camp Coker. We've made approximately $1 million improvements in Camp Coker. That's expanding our high ropes course and addition of a climbing tower and new campsites, and you can basically just go on and on. And so we're real excited about that. We've just been selected by the national organization and the southern region to be a host council for COPE instruction. So all the people in the southeast are going to have an opportunity to come to Camp Coker to learn how to be COPE directors or high ropes, and that's a major compliment to be selected to conduct one of these COPE training schools or high ropes training schools. So we're real excited about that. We were just notified of that last week, as a matter of fact, at the national meeting.
Is that right? Well, I tell you that when you speak of the COPE course, it's exciting. You folks will have to tune in the rest of this week because Jim's actually going to be on a couple more times, and hopefully we'll be able to talk more about the COPE course. But just a quick primer on you, Jim. How long have you been at the PD Area Council?
I was fortunate enough to come here in 1997, and I've been here approximately, I'm starting my 6th year next month, as a matter of fact.
And you're a Carolinian by birth, or?
No, I'm not. I'm from New Mexico. That's part of the United States, Greg. I know you guys don't think so. We're on the other side of Texas, but we're actually 48th member of the United States.
Is that right? I think South Carolina is possibly the 8th, North Carolina, I think the 11th or 12th. So,
it just took us a while to join a good program.
It did, absolutely. Well, again, folks, you'll have to tune in later this week. I think on Wednesday and Friday, Jim will be with us. Later in this hour, we'll be tuning in with Ed Saleeby, who's the current president of the PD Area Council from Hartsville, and hopefully you'll stay tuned in the rest of the show. We'll be right back with more Carolina People.
Stay tuned. Ed Saleeby joins Greg next with more Carolina People.
Welcome back to Carolina People. This week we're visiting with the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts, and we're honored to be with the president of the PD Area Council, Ed Saleeby. Thanks for being with us, Ed.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Are you a South Carolinian by birth?
I was born and raised in Hartsville, South Carolina. Went to school at USC, and law school there also.
Law school there as well. How long have you been practicing law?
Since 1978. So that's a long time now.
Quite a few years, that's right. And how long have you been involved with scouting?
Well, I was sent off as a scout, Greg, and achieved the life status. I didn't make Eagle because my parents didn't think I was studying. B's and C's were not good enough, so they sent me off to prep school and made me study. So I did that, and I did good enough grades, so they let me come back home and graduate from Hartsville High. But life is next to Eagle.
And you were involved as a youth in the PD Area Council. So.
Oh, yes, I was. I lived up at Camp Coker every summer.
So this is
4 or 5 years.
A true love of wanting to give back to
yes.
back to the community and serving.
The experiences and the camaraderie and the lessons of life and doing things for yourself, helping yourself out that I learned in those many weeks at Camp Coker are irreplaceable, and that's for any child, regardless of socioeconomic background. The lessons learned up there are invaluable to a young person growing up.
How long have you been on the executive board of the council?
I got on the executive board of the council right after Jim Head became the council director. And I started off as vice president of finance, which means I'm in charge of raising money, and did that for 2 years. And then for the last 2 years, I have been president of the council, and am now, it's unprecedented, they asked me one more time to be president again. So this will be 3 years in a row that I'll be president of the PD area board.
Is that right? Golly. Well, it's so much has happened at the PD area council or in the 11 counties served by the council during your tenure as president. It's amazing to think through a number of the accomplishments. I think the council got credit for being the fastest growing council in the nation.
In fact, we went from sort of meandering to, we even went to a meeting where they were talking about merging us because of our money system and our money woes, if you want to call it, and facilities with another council, to now they're talking about possibly another council merging with us. So we went from literally down at the bottom to the top of the nation.
And that was really with the advent of Jim Head being added to the council and you coming on, as well as a number of other board members.
We surrounded ourselves by a good number of board people. Leadership is important, and we have that in Jim Head. And I hope that I bring leadership to the table. But with any leader, you know better than the people you surround yourself with to critique you, give you good ideas, tell you when your ideas are not so good and there's a better way to do it. And so you have to have an open mind for constructive input. And we've done that, and we've just been greatly successful. I'm truly pleased and honored with what we've been able to do.
Is there any accomplishment in particular this past year during your 2 years as tenure as president of the council that you're most proud of?
Well, the last 2 years I have won the national, 2001 and 2002, I have won the National President's Award from national. That's not from regional, that's from the National Boy Scouts of America.
Oh, Lord.
And again, that's not because of myself. I try to provide the leadership, but it's the people I surround myself with, and with the help of Jim Head and the other council members. We have a very good, cohesive group that gives us good guidance. We established a mission, and everybody puts in their mission to it. We started when I agreed to take over as president of the council. I said that I'd do it on one condition, is that we get the council out of debt.
Right.
We improve Camp Coker. And we have an endowment for the needy children of the area. And so we have a theory or slogan called that I coined, no child should be left at home.
No child should be left at home.
That's right. And in our whole region, because I saw it when I was young, there were kids that couldn't go on an overnight camping trip because their parents didn't have the few dollars that it cost. They couldn't go to Camp Coker, which back then was only $18 a week, if you can believe that. And so now with the endowment, parents don't have to come up with that. The scoutmasters can identify the kids that need that assistance, and it's just automatically provided. And so the child is not embarrassed about having to ask.
That's
and,
wonderful.
It's all children are treated as equals.
And this is a very large council to be able to have that motto and to work towards that goal. That's an amazing commitment there.
It is. It's a huge area-wise, and but huge in rural. There's not as much industry base. This is the same as the Columbia area councils or the Charleston councils. But we've done right well, and we've raised over, in this past year and a half, over $2.5 million, and we hope to hit 3.5, maybe 4 in the next year.
That would
year
be
and a half.
Fantastic. Most of those funds are focused on Camp Coker and the service center here.
Those funds are split between Camp Coker, the service center here, the retirement of all debt.
Right.
Because I don't like debt with an organization. And then there'll also be an endowment where we will have the interest from that endowment for things that we need at camp. but also for that endowment for the needy children of the area that are able to participate in scouting that otherwise would not be.
I understand big honor not only for your son but for your entire family. I understand your son has earned his Eagle Scout. Is that correct?
He's the oldest, Edward III. We call him son. That's his nickname, and he has earned it. Been approved. He will receive it, I think, next month at the Court of Honor. He's the first of my 3 boys, and I hope the other 2 follow suit with him.
You have 3 sons.
I have 3 sons in scouting.
Is that right? Congratulations. Are they all there in Hartsville?
All in Hartsville.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure that that's been a real inspiration for you, having been in scouting.
Oh, it has, and I love to go on the camping trips, the overnight father-son camping trips that we have, where we go either to the mountains or down to the PD or up to Camp Coker or down to the coast and shrimp and teach them how to do, cook and all the different merit badge type things, how to really survive out in the out in the wilderness.
I know we've only got another minute, but as I think about all you've been involved with in the PD Area Council and within the PD region and within the state, is there anyone in particular, Ed, that inspires you the most, or that has inspired you?
My father inspired me to do what I'm doing now. He always taught me, he said, son, always remember where you came from, or you won't know where to go. And he and my mother came from poor upbringings, and he was successful in life, and he promoted that in me. And so we can teach children that no matter what their socioeconomic status is, that morals, beliefs, hard work, and honesty, that you'll achieve well in life. My father taught me that.
Thank you, Ed. Your father was a special man. Ed Saleeby, President of the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts, many thanks for being with us.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. We'll be right back with more Carolina People right here on Fox 43.
Coming up next, Eddie Drayton joins Carolina People to talk about Camp Coker.
Welcome back to more Carolina People here on Fox 43. Today we're visiting with some of Carolina's finest friends of scouting. We're at the PD Area Council Service Center here in Florence, and today we're honored to be with Eddie Drayton. Eddie, thanks for being with us.
Good to be here.
Eddie, you've been active with the PD Area Council for a number of years, and I think you've been in scouting. Did you grow up in the council?
I did. I was born and raised in Bishopville, joined the scouting movement there as a Cub Scout at age 6, got my Eagle there, went on to Hartsville and took on a scout troop and then a second scout troop, and then worked at the district and now the council level.
Golly, so scouting has been a part of your life virtually since birth.
That's correct, about 55 years or more.
Had family been involved in scouting to give you that impetus to get involved, or you just got in through school, or?
I was the oldest in my family, so I was the first scout. But my younger brothers were scouts as well, and my son was also a scout and an Eagle.
Is that right? Congratulations. That's the council serves an 11 county. It's an 11 county council, so there's a heck of a lot of area. And I know over the last number of years you've had a dramatic impact on forming really what's viewed as the center of the council, the camp, and the service center. I think you're on the executive board. Do you serve as vice president of properties?
That's correct.
What exactly does that mean? What is the vice president of properties?
Well, our committee is responsible for all council properties. We make recommendations for policy on camp management, maintenance, and use. We are responsible for putting together a capital budget and implementing that budget, as well as helping to raise the funds for that budget. We assemble a volunteer manpower pool of professional technicians, tradespeople, that are assist us in developing and maintaining primarily Camp Coker. We also try to put together a pool of companies and servicemen who will give us discounts and donate goods and services.
Golly, so so that's a primary focus on Camp Coker. Here at the service center, I know we've got where all the districts have a meeting space here. There's a district shop or a council shop for folks within the council to travel to buy Boy Scout items. Is there outside of those two locations, is there any prime focus? It's really those two.
It's those two, and my prime focus is Camp Coker. As you know, Camp Coker is our summer camp for scouting youth in the PD Area Council. And Camp Coker, physically, its physical facilities had deteriorated over the last 40 years due to a lack of capital funding for repairs, maintenance, and new construction. So our vision is to improve Camp Coker, and the youth will come. And we envision Camp Coker in about 2 or 3 years being able to serve 400 to 500 youth per week.
How many youth are they serving right now?
A good week at Camp Coker is about 150 to 200.
Is that right? And it goes how long? 10, 11, 12?
No, it's just about 6 weeks.
Okay, right. Well, for viewers within the area, Camp Coker, I believe, is in Chesterfield County. Is it near?
It's in Chesterfield County near Society Hill, between Society Hill and Sherrall.
Well, within the viewing area down O'Ree County, Georgetown County, up in Robinson and Scotland County, so many folks would have the opportunity to get there, but a lot of folks probably haven't been there. So that's a trip worth making. Can people go there year-round?
Right. We have arrangements so organized scouting groups can go there and camp and use the facilities on a year-round basis.
Did you have a background, Eddie, am I correct that you had quite a few years at Sunoco in Hartsville? Was that in a background that had relation to what you're doing now in a volunteer capacity?
Not really. I worked for Sunoco for 39 years. I was trained as a forester.
39 years.
So I really didn't have a background per se, but I think I had a good bit of experience in planning and developing, prioritizing, and implementing, working with people,
right.
Team working, sharing. I think those are the type of things that once you acquire those skills, I think that you can move into about any area.
And a lot of those qualities were instilled at age 6 and on as you got active with the Boy Scouts.
I'd like to think so. I think that Boy Scouts is the premier youth movement for boys, teaches leadership, teamwork, all the same things we just talked about, including moral values as well.
Absolutely. The Properties Committee, I know the council's currently on a capital campaign to improve Camp Coker, and I think am I correct that you have overseen recently upwards of $1 million of capital improvements out at Camp Coker?
Right, we've spent a lot of money. I didn't realize until recently that it had added up to that amount, but we have spent that amount of money on several projects, and hopefully we'll be able to double that amount or a little more in the next year or two.
How many other folks are on the committee, on the Properties Committee?
We have a total of 9 members.
Okay.
And they are. I said earlier, we draw from several type of professional and technical skills. We have a civil engineer, an electrician, we have a building contractor, we have an architect, we have a scoutmaster. We try to draw on a number of different technical skills.
That's wonderful. Well, that means so much. And on committees, one of the most important things for all of us to think about is that these are those 9 members are all on a volunteer basis.
And they do a wonderful job. Without the entire committee, a lot of what we've accomplished at Camp Coker wouldn't have happened. They put in a lot of volunteer hours.
Today, to be with a man who started at age 6, instilled qualities of leadership and teamwork, and after 39 years in a profession of making sure operations ran smoothly, to now take that on to a role to help young men and women be at a location that they can learn those same qualities. We're honored to have you here today, Eddie. Thanks so much for taking your time. Hope to get you on another time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Eddie. We'll be right back with more Carolina People.
Greg will be right back to wrap up today's show after these words from our sponsors.
Welcome back. I'd like to read you the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.